All right. Yeah. So yes, I love cold brew.
No, I like it. It's just the thing of like, it doesn't and I guess maybe when they add nitro, it's a big deal. It was funny, I bought a can of coffee at, the gas station, and it was like $4, and the dude saw my face. He was like, "Yeah, it's a lot." And I looked at him, I was like, "And I made a commitment, I'm buying this coffee." He was like, "Yes, that's
Yeah,
understandable."
I've been in that situation before. I'm gonna go and start because I feel like we're gonna.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
so
it's all
yeah,
good.
I've been in that situation before where where I get up to the register and I'm just actually for me. So this was like 10. No, well, it was no, this is like 20 years ago, but for some reason this is like burned in my memory. So
2000.
I was yeah, I was taking I was taking a train. I was living in Baltimore at the time, and I was taking a train down to. So, I went ahead and said this was 20 years ago because I knew I was going to talk about the cameras. So I had to get one of those disposable cameras. And I can't even remember how much it was, but for that time, it was a
Yeah.
lot of money because you know how those shops are at the train station or at plane stations. Yeah, the
The
airports is
air
what I mean.
the plane
Um,
station? Oh, no.
the plane stations, yeah. So the the train stations, the airports, separate things. Okay. Um,
That's
but anyway, so I just got up there and like she was at the uh, the person who was working there was actually trying to convince me like not to buy it. She was like, this is so expensive. Why are you buying it? I was like, I gotta buy it. And then it was so funny because my friend, I had no idea. It was, like, right behind me, and I turned around and, like and he happened to be there at the same time, and he was like I heard this voice, he said, "That was a pretty expensive camera." And I turned around, and it was one of my friends, and I was like, "Yeah, I just had to commit to it."
Dude, I
So
was already there. I'm not backing off. So yeah, we're talking around the
exactly.
issue. Do you
Yeah.
we got caught. We're gonna call this one, "Oh, shoot, we got caught." And then I
Yeah.
think
Well, I'm curious, how I guess, like, what do we get caught, doing, I guess?
nothing. We got caught.
Nothing, yeah.
I wanna be clear, I think it's funny that in our heads, Yonko is so deep in lore that,
Right?
so me and Andrew don't work together, but we work at the same college, at the same college. We'll just go with that. You can find us. It's probably
Yeah.
not you could dox me. I have no doubt you could. You're strong. That goes to whoever's watching this. You're so strong. You should leave a comment about how strong you are. But
That's right.
so I
You'll be a
realize
featured
I'm only
comment.
going to get through this part of the story because, gosh, 15 minutes is not long. We have rules to follow. Um,
Yeah.
so I've been handing out cards that the blockhead cards for the stickers, right? And I've been like, hey, check it out, check it out, check it out. But I didn't say anything. I just said, hey, here's a piece of art. And I give art out all the time. I give stickers out all the time. And then in my email, all caps letters at work, my work email, it just says Yonko LLC. And I'll be honest, I immediately X'd out an email and went, "What just happened?" Like, it was
Yeah.
like a scary moment of, "Oh, no, they know."
No,
I
I honestly, I had the same response. I mean, it was literally the same thing. I was like, "Oh, crap." And it's like it was just so weird because, like, I mean, we haven't really told anybody about it. Um, Least of all, the people that we work with, we haven't really told anyone about this. So it's just like, who is watching this? Well, now we know some of our colleagues are watching it.
it's also one of the things I think is funny is we've been sort of loosely planning a live show to
Yeah.
happen. Like, I'm doing a gallery at the college, and, like, there's a lot of stuff where, like, I'm very openly being like, "Hey, check out the Yonko LLC," and then finally someone was like, "Hey, what's that about?" And I went, "I don't know, nothing, shut up." And it does say something for
Yeah.
me that's very interesting about art in general, which is a lot of, at least for me, a lot of art is the need to be seen and the fear of being looked at, or maybe that's reverse. Maybe it's the want to be looked at, the fear of being seen is like that's such a demanding thing next to each other. We're like, I want people to see this Yonko LLC thing that we made. And then the second someone was like, "Hey, what's that Yonka LC thing about?" My whole body went into panic. And like part of it
Yeah.
is Yonko, even this part of Yonko, this is like a fifth wall break. I don't know how we have so many wall breaks at this point.
Right.
Um, is like covered in lore that uh, neither me or Andrew have fully discussed or talked about.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but like in my own head, it's a little real. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the it's not hard to see the world that Yonko Capricorn exists in the world
Yeah.
around us.
Right.
Uh,
Well, and I think that that's really what it is because I mean, I've definitely been part of bands and groups, where it's like, hey, you should know everything about us that you can, Um, but this project, feels like so much more private, I think, um, and personal, than I think a lot of other things that I've been involved in, uh, and like the story that we have kind of been telling ourselves and not even you and I really haven't been talking about it, I think just like but the sense that I get is that we're both kind of creating a story, we're also kind of creating our own rules
mhm,
the the way we produce the art and the
mhm.
music. And
Which we also do not tell each other about.
yeah, and we don't talk about that, so it's like this weird like personal thing that I'm like that I'm sharing with you, but I'm also like like it's like my I don't know, it's a very strange kind of thing that that I've never really had this kind of thing with any of the other like groups. Like it's just a very unique situation, I think.
It is, and it's funny because like I could even now, which we agreed that we're gonna do this interview.
Yeah,
Um, 5 questions. It's 5 questions a uh in a very small company's
right.
relatively medium-sized college, like a small college, a small rural college is sending out a small email about what we're doing, and it sent both of us into a full-on panic. After, and I want to be clear, I have been pushing this thing like crazy, but always with this like, hey, I don't know, check it out. I don't even know what's that about. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Uh, answer to it, and it's it is a thing where like how much we won't talk about it is part of what it is about.
yeah,
And this one is less focused than other ones where we're like, hey, this is an idea, or here's things going in NFT. It's just you and me looking at each other with panic in our eyes, going, is this what we need?
right.
Uh, you were supposed to find this album behind a dumpster.
Well, I'm guessing so because he did send a picture of the sticker. It was
Mhm.
actually the blockhead sticker, I think. Um, and so,
That's me.
did
Gotta
yeah,
go.
yeah, did he come into, like, where
Yeah, he came
the
he
place
came
that you
into
work
my
in?
work, and
Yeah.
I just hand them out to people. Like it's just one of those things.
Okay.
Like, hey, you
Yeah.
want one of these? And I usually
Yeah.
don't tell them what it's about because I think the stickers on their own, while they're an advertisement, they're also their own little piece of art. And
Yeah.
I like just being like, oh, this is an interesting piece of art, and then being like, here's a QR code here. Now the QR code for Blockhead is like center.
Yeah.
The QR code for all of them is all relatively easy to get to, but
Yeah.
um, that you look at the piece as a piece of art, and then that piece of art, when you scan it, opens up into this other piece of art that then behind it is us talking
Right.
about finding it.
Yeah.
But like I like that expansive moment, and I love giving that to people because I think that would be
Yeah.
wonderful for me. Is instead of being like, "Hey, this is a music piece I make," and it's like a
Right.
music like I don't make the music, but I make visuals. Hey, here, this is your. Hey, check this out.
Yeah.
I wonder you might like the sticker, and
Right.
then not even saying about the the thing. One of the things we did, which I think is we'll eventually release it on here too, at least in chunks, is after we finished Capricorn, which is what's out right now, we released like a video where we talked for 2 hours about art and stuff and about
Right.
it. And we released that. And for some reason in my mind, I went, well, that's the moment where this whole thing goes viral and everyone immediately knows about it. And I think no one in my life watched that video.
Right. No, 'cause I think I put that one on Facebook and, you can see, like, you can see the views or the people who you can see the interactions with it and, like, probably the fact that it was, like, a 2-hour long conversation was just an immediate turn off for people, I think.
Just a 2 hour long conversation with no apparently you need build up.
Right. Well, yeah, because I think even when I posted on Facebook, I was like I said literally, like, "I don't even know how to
Yeah.
talk about this. I don't like, which actually reminds me. I have a confession. So last week, you said that your wife uh, did not know that we were posting these on YouTube.
Mhm.
And I just sort of played it off like, "Oh, really? Oh, well, that's interesting," you know? Well, I had not told my wife either. So 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 I told her, just before we did this one, just now, she was like, "So who do you have the meeting with?" I was like, "Brandon." And, she was like, "Oh, okay, you've been talking to him a lot." And I said, "Well, we've actually been doing this little podcast." So
That pi I wanna be every time there are people who watch. At least 7
yeah,
people have watched it, and it's
yeah.
one of the most "Who are you? Who
Well
are you?"
well, and see, that kinda goes back to what we were talking about before, like, the reason I haven't really pushed these is because of that, like, fear of not being anonymous anymore,
Yeah.
where, which I mean, like, that's very easy, like, to remain anonymous, all we have to do is just not do this, anymore. But but I'm enjoying this, I think this is a lot of fun, and so it's just out there. So it's like, uh I don't mind not being anonymous, and maybe in some ways I want to not be anonymous, by doing this. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to like walk this balance of,
Yep,
of which one
and
is which.
so we got pushed, and an email and an internal work email pushed both of us because, like, I saw it and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be mad at me. Andrew's gonna be like." The more it's fascinating how much your own, and I think it's important to note this for me, is, like, how much your own inner lore. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with doing Yonko LLC. But we've convinced ourselves this weird subversive project, which I'm pretty sure if you listen to even these, which are like the
Yeah.
secret ones, we never. I might curse a little bit. That's it.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
two dudes talking about art, and it's this weird in our own minds. Is this weird hidden thing, and I think even you know how like how weird the placebo effect is when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like sugar pills do anything is
Right. Right.
insane. And,
Yeah.
like, that's something that do you know if you take a placebo and you know it's a placebo, it will still have an effect on you?
I've heard that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what this we just placeboed affected ourselves so hard
Right.
that,
Exactly.
like, once someone was like, "Hey, what's this art you're making?" We're like, "It's actually a weird dark secret." And, like, it's not at all.
Right.
There's some
Yeah.
very mild vandalism, that's it.
Exactly.
Uh, which is
Yeah.
is is important. So, what I'm trying to say, I always try to have a point when I say stuff like this, and I
Yeah.
think this one we walked around it, but I think we found it, which is
Yeah.
how much self-talk can affect you.
Right.
Because we fully knew that we were doing a bit, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Right.
The bit is Yonko is this weird invasion underground counter active thing about people
Right.
turning into companies and how scary the idea that everyone's like, "You should become an LLC," and everyone's like, "That you should be." It's not you should be. the- I'm
Yeah.
gonna give a secret. You know that quote, that Jay-Z quote that everybody
Oh
loves.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Businessman. Yeah.
Yeah. I would argue that there is a also that is also body horror. The idea of, like, you're no longer a person, you're a business, and, like, that's some
Right.
if Cronenberg heard that, you just see the man become the factory and how scary that is.
Right. Exactly. Well, even like, I mean, because I've got this Twitter account that like I really haven't told anyone about. I've been posting that's where I have been posting this is on the Twitter account that like
Didn't know
for
about
some reason. Yeah. So for the some okay, yeah, so I'm keeping secrets even from you. So, well, and it's this weird thing, like it's a Twitter account that I just started to basically follow just uh a couple of interests that basically crypto interests that I
it.
have.
Yeah, I
Um, yeah. And so, and for some reason, like I managed, like without doing anything, I managed to get like 23 followers, which is not, it's not a lot. I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just saying like there's 23 people on my Twitter account that, like that I have no idea, like, how they got there. So
Who are you? Who yeah, it's the return of this thing, that we do
right,
here,
right,
which is, like, we put it out. It's built to be put out. There are rules so that it's built to be put out, and, but it's mostly for God's eyes. Like,
right.